Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I am going to explain the fundamental building blocks of FreeRTOS, including tasks, scheduling, priorities, queues, semaphores, software timers, and event groups. FreeRTOS allows an embedded application to be divided into independent tasks. For example, one task can read a sensor, another can manage communication, and another can control an LED. The scheduler decides which ready task receives CPU time. This decision is mainly based on task priority. A higher priority ready task can immediately preempt a lower priority task. However, priority does not mean that one task permanently owns the processor. Tasks should regularly block while waiting for delays, data, or hardware events. This allows other tasks to execute and creates a responsive, event-driven embedded system. Task is an independent function that runs under the control of the FreeRTOS scheduler. Each task normally contains an infinite loop and performs one specific responsibility. For example, a sensor task may periodically read temperature data. A UART task may transmit and receive messages, and an LED task may update system indicators. Each task has its own stack, which stores local variables, function calls, and execution context. Although these tasks appear to run simultaneously on a single core microcontroller, the CPU actually switches between them very quickly. FreeRTOS saves the context of the current task and restores the context of the next selected task. Tasks should avoid continuous polling. They should block using delays, queues, semaphores, or event groups whenever there is no useful work to perform. The FreeRTOS scheduler always selects the highest priority task that is currently in the ready state. Priority 0 is normally reserved for the idle task, while application tasks are assigned higher values depending on their timing requirements. For example, a motor control task may use a high priority because it requires fast and deterministic execution. A communication task may use medium priority, while an LED status task can use low priority. When the motor control task blocks while waiting for its next control period, the scheduler allows the communication task to run. When the high priority task becomes ready again, it can preempt the lower priority task. Tasks with the same priority can share CPU time through time slicing, when preemption and time slicing are enabled. Priorities should represent timing importance, not task size or complexity. A task is commonly created using the xTaskCreate function. Its main parameters define the task function, task name, stack depth, input parameter, priority, and optional task handle. The task function contains the code that will execute. The task name is mainly used for debugging. Stack depth determines the amount of stack memory allocated to the task. In FreeRTOS, stack depth is usually specified in units of stack type _t, not directly in bytes, so the actual memory size depends on the target architecture. The parameter pointer can pass configuration data into the task. Priority controls scheduling, while the task handle allows another part of the program to suspend, resume, delete, or notify the task. After successful creation, the task normally enters the ready state and waits for the scheduler. A FreeRTOS task moves between several execution states. A task in the ready state can run but is waiting for CPU time. When selected by the scheduler, it enters the running state. A running task enters the blocked state when it waits for a delay, queue item, semaphore, notification, or other event. For example, calling vTaskDelay places the task in the blocked state until the delay expires. A task can also enter the suspended state through vTaskSuspend. Unlike a blocked task, a suspended task does not automatically become ready because of time or normal events. It must be resumed explicitly. Finally, a task can be deleted using vTaskDelete. Its resources are then cleaned up by the idle task. Dynamically created tasks should therefore be deleted carefully, and only when their execution is truly finished. FreeRTOS provides binary semaphores, counting semaphores, and mutexes. Although they use similar APIs, their purposes are different. A binary semaphore represents a simple event with two states, available or unavailable. It is commonly used to signal a task from an interrupt. Inside an interrupt, the from ISR version of the semaphore API must be used. A counting semaphore maintains a count greater than 1. It can represent multiple available resources, such as 3 buffers or 4 identical communication channels. A mutex is designed for mutual exclusion. It protects a shared resource such as UART, SPI, or a global data structure. Unlike a binary semaphore, A mutex has ownership and supports priority inheritance, reducing priority inversion. Mutexes should only be taken and released by tasks, not directly from interrupt service routines. Queues provide safe inter-task communication using a first-in, first-out structure. A producer task sends data into the queue, while a consumer task receives data from the opposite side. For example, a sensor task can place temperature values into a queue using xQsend. A logger task can wait for new values using xQreceive. If no data is available, the receiving task can block without wasting CPU time. FreeRTOS queues copy each item into internal queue storage. The queue must therefore be created with the correct item size and number of entries. Large structures can consume significant RAM, so applications often queue pointers instead, but the referenced memory must remain valid. Queues are thread safe and can also be accessed from interrupts using functions such as xQsend from ISR. FreeRTOS software timers execute a callback after a configured period. They are useful for delayed operations that do not require a dedicated task. A one-shot timer expires once and then stops. It can be used for communication timeouts, delayed shutdown, or turning an output off after a fixed interval. An auto-reload timer automatically restarts after expiration. It is suitable for repeated operations such as blinking an LED, checking a sensor, or updating a status value. Timer callbacks are executed by the FreeRTOS timer service task, sometimes called the daemon task. Because all software timer callbacks share this task, callbacks should remain short and must not block for long periods. Complex work should be passed from the callback to another task using a queue, notification, or semaphore. Event groups allow tasks to synchronize using multiple event bits stored inside one shared object. Each bit represents a condition such as Wi-Fi connected, sensor initialized, or button pressed. Tasks or interrupt handlers can set individual bits when events occur. Another task can wait for one selected bit, any selected bit, or all selected bits to become active. For example, a startup task may wait until both Wi-Fi_OK and sensor_OK are set before beginning normal operation. The waiting task remains blocked and consumes no CPU time until the required condition is satisfied. Event bits can optionally be cleared automatically when the waiting task wakes. On common 32-bit FreeRTOS configurations, 24 event bits are available because the upper control bits are reserved internally. Event groups are best used for synchronization flags, not for transferring data. The correct FreeRTOS mechanism depends on the problem being solved. Tasks divide the application into independent responsibilities. Queues safely transfer data between tasks. Binary semaphores signal events, while mutexes protect shared resources. Counting semaphores manage multiple identical resources. Software timers provide delayed or periodic callbacks without creating another permanent task. Event groups allow one task to wait for several system conditions. A practical design may use all of these together. A sensor task reads data and sends it through a queue to a communication task. A mutex protects the shared UART. A timer controls periodic status updates, and an event group confirms that communication and sensors are ready before the application starts. The key principle is to block tasks while they wait, keep priorities meaningful, and choose the simplest synchronization mechanism for each requirement. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Please share, like, and comment below. Also subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos.